the Kinky Polyatheist, and on the show today we're going to be talking about Metamours. What are they? How to get along with them? And how to logistically interact with them. Stick around. Hey, welcome to the show. I'm excited to say this is now a YouTube channel and a podcast. Like and subscribe. You could send your questions to ask@kinkypolyatheist.com, or you could drop them in the comments. Today we're focusing on the polyamory side of my channel, and we're talking about the partners of my partner. These are also commonly known as Metamours. So Metamour is the combination of the two words meta and amour. Meta being with or about or something bigger than, and amour being love, Metamour. Today we're going to talk about what it's like to be a Metamour, what it's like to have a Metamour, and what it's like to have two partners who are Metamours of each other. So there's really two major dynamics going on here. There's the logistics behind having a Metamour, and then there's the actual relationship between Metamours. Logistics are all of the details on how you're going to split time and things like that with a partner. And the relationship is all about how well you connect with that Metamour and how well you interact with them. Logistics are referring to things like when do you go on dates with which person, and when do you stay at which person's house? How do you interact when one partner texts you while you're on a date with another partner? Or maybe how you interact with your partner while they're on a date with another person. All of these logistics do come to light. In theory, we want everyone involved to be happy. We want to be happy, we want our partner to be happy, and we want our partner's partner to also be happy. Logistically, you can get into some tight spots that mess with people's happiness. So it's great to be able to talk about it, which leads to the next part. What's your relationship with your Metamour? Or what are your relationship between your partners and each other? Metamours could simply not know each other. One of them could be out of town or something like that. Metamours could be indifferent to each other. Metamours could be just okay with each other, not really concerned, again, indifferent. Metamours could actually kind of like hanging out. And sometimes Metamours just aren't on the same page or don't like something about each other. Sometimes there's jealousy between Metamours. And sometimes Metamours might not like each other. Maybe they're getting some kind of red flag or trigger off the other person. So let's talk logistics. Let's say each of your partners check in with you within 5 minutes of each other, and they both want to go out on a date on Friday. What do? The short answer is usually talk about it. But that's just one of the many logistical things that can happen. Say, for example, you're living with a partner, and both of you are polyamorous, and both of you have another partner. What happens when one of you wants to bring your other partner back to the house? Right there could be moments where you're going to interact with your partner's partner, or your partner's going to interact with your other partner. And what you hope for is you hope that everyone's going to get along. Honestly, when you have more than one partner, you usually like them. You like them all for different reasons, but you like them all. And you really hope that partner A is going to like partner B and vice versa because you think they're both wonderful people. It's not always the case, but it can sometimes be the case. It doesn't change the fact, though, where do you have sex? If you live with partner A and partner B comes to visit, where does partner A go? Does partner A just conveniently leave the house? Does partner A go to a movie? Does partner A go out on a date while you have partner B in the house? And while partner B is in the house, is it okay to have sex in your own bed, or is that a no-no? All of these logistics need to be talked through. For example, some very simple ideas. Let's say you live with partner A and partner B comes over. If you have sex in the bed, you probably want to make sure you have some kind of a mattress cover, and you probably want to make sure the sheets are put directly in the wash when partner B leaves and before partner A gets home. That's just being respectful. That also goes for cleaning up. Say, for example, when your partner gets home, you don't want sex toys lying around and you don't want condoms lying around. You probably just want to clean up a little bit. Again, that's going to depend on your partner. It's going to depend on your relationship with partner A and how open or edgy they are about another person being in the house. And the spectrum is there. In some cases, some people, they're a little on edge. And in other cases, your partner really might not care. They might encourage it and actually be excited for you. They might not have any problems with the sheets still being in the wash when they get home. Or it might trigger them. You have to talk through it with your partner and come to some kind of an understanding on how logistics are going to work in your current situation and with your other partners. A lot of times, the thing that ends up being a point of contention is time. You only have so much time in a day or a week, and you want to spend time with partner A and partner B. What I found is really nice about polyamorous relationships with other polyamorous people is that it's usually not a big deal. If I'm going to have a date with somebody else, odds are my partner's also going to be having a date with somebody else, or hanging out with their friends, or going to a class, or doing their hobby, or whatever. The times that I've run into more trouble is when one of us has been monogamous, or monogamish. For example, when I first started moving into the world of poly, I still had a lot of jealousy and things that were following me around. Some of them were founded, some of them were unfounded, but it's still things that I had to work through. And when you realize jealousy is something that you yourself need to work through, you're probably going to find the best result. Again, the answer is talk to your partner or your partners. One thing that I've seen that's pretty standard is if you're going to spend time with one partner, you should probably take a shower before spending time with the other partner, just regardless. Smelling like somebody else's perfume can be distracting, and some people might be grossed out just by the idea that you might have been with somebody else, and now that somebody else is all over you, and now if they're hugging you, it's getting all over them. Some people have a block there. Another good example of logistics is if the three of you all end up at the same party. How do you act? You should probably talk about it ahead of time. There's many different dynamics for different polycules, and the three of you are going to come up with the answer that's best for the three of you. So talk about it. Surprisingly enough, one of the simplest solutions is usually just to take turns. You go this time, I'll go next time. It's better to just take turns or flip a coin or whatever than it is to have some kind of bigger argument and try to figure out who might have favor with the partner. Just take turns. Now let's talk about your relationship with a meta. As you can imagine, the stronger that relationship is, the easier it's going to be to talk through things. So at the very least, you probably want to be civil. I believe that metas should be treating each other with kindness and respect and grace. Your partner likes this person for a reason. And even if you can't see that reason, clearly your partner is finding joy in that relationship and you should be rooting for them. You should be doing whatever you can to keep communication open and clean and flowing and friendly. Still, that doesn't change the fact that the other person is still a person. For example, I have had metas who were very introverted and didn't really know how to interact with me. And if you know me, I'm somebody who kind of hugs everybody. So I've had metas who have been a little standoffish about that part of my personality, which is totally fine. But in the end, they realized that a handshake and a pleasant greeting was always a good thing. I've had moments where I've actually had a sit down with a meta, just to specifically say, hey man, I like you. I think you're cool. And I'm glad that she is dating such an awesome guy. I'm glad to know that when she's with you, she's safe, she's loved, and she's having fun. And just having that little bit of a conversation with them just to say, thanks for being in her life, and I appreciate you, changed our dynamic. What's really amazing is when metas get along. When I get along with a meta, we end up having a great time. I've had metas where I was friends with this guy, and then this guy and I ended up kind of dating the same person. And what do you know? We're still friends. And the three of us have a great time together. So that whole thing where I'm meeting her other partner just didn't even happen. I already knew her other partner first. And that can be a lot of fun. When metas get along, sometimes they might actually encourage you to go on a date with the other person, because they know you've kind of been hanging around and it's about time you go see the other person. I know the other person well enough to know, hey, they probably miss you. Give them a call. That sort of stuff. Getting along with your meta or having partners that get along is pretty incredible. It doesn't always happen though. More times than not, there's a little bit of awkwardness that comes with the situation, and that's fine. Just treat them with friendliness, respect, and grace. And think about them. I've had situations where I've been out and about with a partner, and before we end the date, I'll ask about their other partner. For example, you might be on a date with somebody, you might have a really quick and easy dinner, and on the way out, you might say, oh, by the way, should we grab something for your partner? Like, I'm bringing you home. Has he eaten yet? Or maybe you're walking through a mall and you see the candy shop and you know that her partner likes candy, or a specific type of candy that's hard to find and you happen to see it. Go in there and pick it up. Do something nice for them, and they just might do nice things for you. Sometimes you just need a little check-in about the awkwardness. For example, I've had more than one situation where I checked in with the person I was seeing and just told them, I just want to let you know, I'm totally cool with you kissing your other partner in my presence. In fact, I encourage it. I don't want you guys to have to feel like you have to hide or something like that. If you guys love each other, or if you guys care about each other, kiss each other. I'm probably just going to say, hey, you two are adorable. A lot of the awkwardness with a meta is usually something like that. It's usually this weird little tension where you don't know what you are allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do in the presence of the other person. So just talk about it. However, sometimes metas don't get along. Sometimes your partner will have a partner that you just don't like, or maybe they rub you the wrong way, or there's something weird going on. I would say first look at yourself and ask if you're feeling some kind of a triggered moment or if you're jealous about something that you need to address. At the same time, sometimes you don't really have a lot of choice in the matter. Sometimes the other person doesn't like you for whatever reason, and you just gotta roll with it. Personally, I've noticed that when metas don't get along for some reason, that should usually be a little bit of a red flag. It should say that something's going on here. Either one of the people are toxic, or more likely, there's a miscommunication going on, and you guys should just have a talk. Talk through the miscommunication, get to the bottom of it, and everyone's happy. Of course, that's easier said than done. It's like I've said in the past. If you think one relationship is hard, try two. Most often, when I've seen metas not get along, it's usually because one of them is actually not that poly. They're more monogamous or monogamish, and they're learning about poly. And they're seeing the other person as a bit of a threat, or they're having all their monogamous programming kind of like come up, and they're dealing with it. Again, treat them with respect and grace. The biggest tip I'd like to share with you about interacting with metas or having partners who are metas is don't put anyone in the middle. The partner that links the two metas, do not put that person in the middle. Don't let them get in a position to have to choose sides or play peacekeeper or anything like that. If two metas are not getting along, the two metas should go out for coffee and talk through it. There should not be a tug-of-war on the shared partner, and the shared partner should not have to turn into the mediator or the adult. Everyone should act like an adult, and all three connections, the connection from you to each of your partners and the connection between your partners, is its own relationship. And all three of those connections need to be fostered by the two people in them. So don't put a shared partner in the middle. It only turns into disaster. That's a high level on Metamours. I'm the Kinky Polyatheist. Like and subscribe. Don't forget, we have a YouTube channel and a podcast now. I'm curious, you poly people out there, how do you encourage interacting with a meta? How do you resolve differences with your meta? Share something in the comments below. Thanks for watching the show. I'm the Kinky Polyatheist. I'll see you next time.